Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Customer section. The next one is after create invoice. The next one is batch invoice. Create batch invoice. First thing, a batch invoice is available only in the case of companies if they have single currency, right? If you have multiple currency, you cannot find this one. And the next one is what is the purpose of create batch invoice? Create a batch invoice is used if your company send the same invoice for several customers at the same time. So for that purpose, we can use a batch invoice. Let us say, for example, we have a telecommunication company, or for example, we have an internet company, right? Each customer, for example, received 1 MB from our company, and they have to pay, for example, $50. At the end of the month, we make only one invoice and we send for all customers, right? If this is so, if one invoice for the one value and for different customers, if it is required, so no need to make each invoice individually under create invoice. Why? Because under create invoice, we can make only one invoice at a time. But under batch invoice, you can make 1,000, for example. I have not tested, but you can make more than, for example, at least 50 invoice, and you can send it for the customers. Depends on the customers, how many customers you want to make, you can make it, right? At the same time, you can send for several customers. Let us say, for example of Cordon. Cordon want to charge 100 fee for each students, and they want to inform the students that you have to pay $100 for the month, right? So make one invoice and send to all students. Click on this one. Yes. When you start from this side. The first thing that you have to do, you have to make the billing group. Billing group means, for example, so what is the group name? Let us say, for example, this is Cordon student, right? Cordon students. Cordon students. Name of the group is Cordon students. Okay, then who should be in this group? First, name, and then who should be in the group. Name of customers will be listed here. For example, Khatra should be in this list, added. Marwa, for example, should be in this list. Mariam should be in this list, for example. Shapur should be in this list, right? Umaid should be in this list. Anyone whom you want to add to the list, you can add. Abdul Latif should be in this list, for example. Now, these are the group of people who appear in the batch invoice. After that, save the group, right? Select the name, then add it. If you don't want, for example, Abdul Latif, then you can remove Abdul Latif. Again, you have to save it, right? Then click on the next. Click on the next. Now you can mention the items. What item you want to send to this customer? For example, you want to send book, right? For example, let us say 100 book for each of these customers, right? Then click on the next. You click on the next for each of these people. So there is a invoice. This one, this one, this one. But why amount is different? Because that is because of tax rate. See, some of the customers charge 15%, some of them this one, this one. Otherwise, everyone will be safe. If you click on the create invoice, click on the invoice, you print, or otherwise you can email it. Close this one. How you can check out whether invoice is created or not. Previously, I did not check this one. Click on the customer center. Then click on the transaction. You can see how many estimation you made, how many sales order you made, how many invoice you made, right? So this was, I think, the invoice, the last invoice. No, finally you made several invoice, right? Invoice 22 for Marwa, for this one, for invoice 20, invoice 19, all these invoices are made now, right? So these are the invoice which were created itself. Or otherwise, you can select it, for example, today invoice. How many invoice we made? So these are the invoice that we have made today, right? These are the list of invoice. You can filter the invoice from here. All invoice, open invoice, right? For example, today invoice, this week invoice, all of them can be checked or can be filtered. So in this way, you can create a batch invoice. So this was the purpose of batch.